The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series goes road racing. Don't expect these 3,400-pound pickups to show a lot of finesse because there's going to be some bumping. And they're going to go through the grass. Don't mind the rumble strips. These bad boys are going to make their own rumblings. Concentrate. You don't want to go in circles at this place. Some guys know their way around, but they're all rookies here at Portland. ESPN is in Portland, Oregon for round 11 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's the Grainger 225 from Portland International Raceway. As we take a look at the championship points chase, after 10 rounds of racing, Jack Sprague on top by 49 markers over Stacy Compton. Ron Hornaday, the worst he's been since 1997. He's third, 83 points behind. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed alongside Jeremy Dale. After 10 races on the ovals, we're finally at a road course.
Yeah, we're on the road course, Marty, and it's very interesting here because this is not a road course familiar to many of these drivers, and certainly none of the teams, because these NASCAR Craftsman Truck teams have not ever been to Portland. There are a couple of guys, though, that are very familiar with this racetrack.
And surprise, surprise, they're at the front of the pack, and that's where we find Amy East and Dave Burns.
This racer knows which road leads to victory lane. Boris said punched his way to his only Truck Series victory the last time these guys turned both left and right. He spent 1999 racking up more road course wins in a sports car, but Boris is back and ready to muscle his truck to victory lane here in Portland.
He's back and he's strong. It was no surprise he qualified on the pole. He schooled him in qualifying, but can he dominate in the race? Well, that'll be tough because he's not the only road course hot shoe starting on the front row.
The rearview mirror of Ron Fellows has been filled with wannabes and what-ifs here at Portland. 3 times he has bested the Trans Am field, memorizing critical turn-in points and braking zones, perfecting his own line around Portland International Raceway. Today, he bets on his checkered past and sets his eyes on another Portland prize.
Well, Ron Fellows has put on a little weight and a little height since his Trans Am days. 600 pounds and 13 inches in roof height since his Trans Am car. That NASCAR Craftsman truck is heavy. The question is, as he starts on the front of the grid, can this team and Ron Fellows wrestle this massive beast to victory lane here today?
And the trucks are on the pace lap now, the final of 2 pace laps. Let's take a look at our Mopar starting grid. You've already been introduced to the front row, Boris said, and Ron Fellows. In row number 2, it's Stacy Compton and Jack Sprague. And Stacy Compton, a story.
Stacy's a good story because he won the road course race at Topeka last year, but that race kind of came to him. Didn't really go out and earn that victory, but he's worked hard on his road course driving, and the team has worked hard on the truck, and he is really ready to be at the front here at Portland.
Stacy Compton will start in that number 3 slot. Back in row number 3, Dennis Setzer and Mike Wallace. And Setzer, another one of those surprise stories.
Well, Dennis Setzer, what a great job last week at Texas on the big 1.5-mile super speedway. He was so strong all day long. Took that victory, his first victory of the season. Ran into a little bit of trouble here in the first practice session. Got off the road and got into the tires pretty hard, but he did recover to qualify 5th.
Let's check the remainder of this starting field. In row number 4, it'll be Greg Biffle and Terry Cook. Cook, his best road course qualifying ever. In row number 5, Ron Hornaday and Mike Bliss. In row number 6, Kevin Harvick and Randy Tolsma. Tolsma coming back from that big crash last week at Texas. In row 7, it's Andy Houston, Rob Morgan. Morgan, another road course specialist. Then it is Jay Sauter and Lance Norick in row number 8. In row number 9, we find Rick Crawford and Jimmy Hensley. In row 10, Scott Hansen and Ron Barfield. Then in row number 11, it's Lonnie Rush, Mike Stefanik. In row 12, Ross Townsend and Mylon Garrett. Row 13, Augie Vinovich, Kevin Sawinski. In row 14, it's Rob Rizzo and John Young. Row 15, Marty Houston and David Starr. And then rounding out the field in row 16, Joe Ruttman and Dane Pedersesi. Ruttman got off course in qualifying. That's why he's back in that last row. Let's take a look at the race analysis right now. We find out that we've got 73 total laps here at Portland International for 142.5 3 miles. The purse over $393,000. The pit window. Fuel is going to be critical here. 32 to 35 laps.
And on boards, the Cat Rental, number 60, Andy Houston, Greg Biffle in the number 50, Grainger Ford, Mike Wallace in the number 2, Team ASE Ford, Dennis Setzer in the Mopar Dodge, and Boris Said in the Federated Auto Parts Ford.
So as they come down to the starting green, and the flag is waving, and round 11 is underway. Through the festival turn for the first time. Too wide. Everybody seeming so far to make it.
This first set of corners at Portland, very tight. There's going to be trouble down here, no question about it.
Boris Said, Ron Fellows jump out in the early lead. Jack Sprague got around Stacy Compton. He is running in third. Behind Compton, it's Dennis Setzer. That's your top 5.
And actually today it rained twice and dried out twice, so the chance of rain is very good.
Working their way down through turn 12 for the first time. Here we come to complete lap number 1. Boris Said is in front. And right behind is Ron Fellows. It takes a look to the inside, but will not try and stick his truck underneath. Slowest corner on the racetrack right there at the festival turn. Back onto the throttle.
No question. These trucks, these drivers having to go down to first gear for that quick right-left in the festival curves. And because of that, they're running a very tall first gear. So it's going to be hard for these guys to get out of their pit stalls today because they're running such a tall first gear.
You see Compton in the 86, Setzer, Biffle right behind him, the hometown favorite. And the rest of this field coming through. Whoops, smoking a tire there. The 92 of Ross Thompson gets wide through the ground. Oh, and Kevin Sawinski is hard into the barrier.
Yeah, you can see the hood all folded up there on Kevin Sawinski's truck.
Currently running 6th in the points, or 10th in the points, I should say. He's going to be able to back it out, but there is some damage to the truck.
Man, that tells you how tough these NASCAR trucks are, because look at the damage on the front of that car, and he's backed that thing out, and he's going to keep going.
Qualified 26th. He is not known for his road course racing. We've got a replay of it. Oh, he's got a tire rubbing on that left front.
He's definitely going to have to head to the pits. But look at this, coming out of turn 2, he just gets it off. Now, keep in mind, we've had a lot of rain, so that truck just not slowing down, and it actually moves the barrier just a little bit when it hits.
So he is nursing it around to get the auto trim design Ford back to the pit lane. We've got to take a break. Boris Said is in front of the Grainger 225. Round 11 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is brought to you by Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. That's the Mopar difference. By the Auto Vent Shade Company, maker of the original vent visor and other quality products. Auto Vent Shade, you're only as cool as your shades. And by the new Dodge, it's about change. Back to our race leaders, Boris Said and Ron Fellows. They have opened up about a 3-second margin over third place Jack Sprague. Stacy Compton is 4th, and Dennis Setzer rounds out the top 5.
And Ron Fellows certainly not letting Boris Said get away. As you said, Marty, these two have opened up more than a 3-second lead on Jack Sprague. And Ron Fellows at this point seems happy enough to just stay on Boris Said's rear bumper and push him along.
Dave Burns, you're down in pit lane. Got an update?
Well, Marty, the start of the race looked pretty obvious, like Boris Said was being sort of let out in front there by Ron Fellows, and that was a plan since this morning. They got together talk about it, and I asked them, I said, you guys going to make a plan going down to the festival turn? They didn't tell me who was going to lead down there, but they basically said, we're not going to mess it up early on in the event. They didn't do it, and right now Sed has been given the position by Ron Fellows, but he's got a lot of pressure now coming back.
Yeah, I think your observation was right, Jeremy, from the standpoint of these two. They know it's a long race. You don't want to get into too much of an infight right now. You can take each other out and hand the race back to, well, right now it'd be Jack Sprague in third.
Absolutely, and there's no point in fighting this early in the race. Having said that, look at Ron Fellows not hesitating to show him the nose and actually stuffs it inside.
Can he hold on to the position? No, because now you got the right-hander coming up here, and Boris is going to hold on to the position. On to the back straightaway, which really isn't a straight at all. It's a long, slow, sweeping arc. Over 1,500 feet long, and you saw the lap speeds there last time by.
And they use a lot of that curve right there. You see Jack Sprague jumping over that curve. There's Greg Biffle, Stacy Compton. Biffle has gone past Compton.
In fact, he's gone past Setzer as well. He's picked up 2 positions, jumping from 6th to 4th. So Biffle has will go on board the Dodge of Dennis Setzer.
And you can see Biffle laying strips of rubber as he comes out of that last corner onto the main straightaway here in Portland. These trucks in second gear really struggle to put power down, and especially here in first gear on this concrete, which is very bumpy. Oh, we got a truck in the wall.
The number 78 of Dane Pittarese is into the wall. That is right at turn 12, the last turn on the track. And doesn't look like he is going anywhere. We'll have to wait and see if there will be a full course caution. Now he's trying to get it refired.
And look at this, Ron Fellows in the lead. Ron Fellows has gone by Boris Sed.
So while Pittarese was in the tire barrier, we've got our first lead change of the race. And Ron Fellows is at the point in the Chevrolet, while the Ford right behind of Boris Sed. And the 2 of them lead Jack Sprague in third place by 4.2 seconds.
Look at Ron Fellows over that curve, just launching that truck.
Let's go back and find out what happened to Dane Pittarese.
Well, we saw this a couple of times. Boy, that's a pretty good hit. We saw this a couple of times in practice. Guys just get off. They start to get a little push there as they head into the last corner, and there's just nothing you can do. And especially with that wet grass, there's no way to keep that truck from going into the tires.
And the truck is in the pit lane getting some repairs taken care of. There you get a chance to see Greg Biffle has gotten around Jack Sprague. So Biffle, one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack right now, has moved his position all the way up to third.
And Greg Biffle, of course, that extra motivation. He is from Vancouver, Washington, just across the river from Portland, just a couple of minutes away from this racetrack.
In fact, if he wins this race, there'll be a huge party at Biffle's Pub and Grill, which is 15 minutes away. He's 5.16 seconds behind the race leader, which is Ron Fellows. There is Stacy Compton and Dennis Setzer, the pair of Dodges. They are running 5th and 6th.
Interval 7.6.
And it looks like Compton taking a run here at Sprague. Not quite close enough.
This could get a little dicey.
Yeah, man, you don't want to run side by side. Look at Setzer, though. Setzer gets by Compton, and there's Hornaday. Look at Hornaday up the inside.
Hornaday took advantage.
man.
Look out.
Contact.
Go, baby, go.
Is the loser in this deal as he spins around.
Man, Ron Hornaday just forced his way through.
Well, what happened also, I think when we go back and see this, Stacy Compton ended up having to get into Hornaday. There were 3 wide. They just didn't have enough room.
And look at the damage on the right front of Dennis Setzer's truck. A lot of tire rub there. There's the 78 truck just come out of the pit lane. He is a lap down, but the right front of Setzer's truck is got a lot of damage. We haven't had a look at it yet, but certainly he's got some tire rub into the left side of Hornaday's truck.
Here we go back to it. You'll see 3 wide here.
And this is a potential problem area. Look at that. Compton gets into the back of Setzer. Setzer, you know, Hornaday's up the inside there, and that is fairly optimistic in that part of the racetrack. But a real big mess there, and poor Jack Sprague ends up being the loser.
And Setzer gets into, or I should say, Compton gets into Setzer. He gets into Hornaday. Hornaday gets into Sprague. And you said it. Jack's the one who's parked by the side of the road right now trying to fight his way back. Setzer has some damage to that right front. And we'll tell you spread right now. He's running in 22nd position. He is back out on the race course. Ron Fellows is the man at the point. The Grainger, 225. At Portland International Raceway, and some interesting strategy is going on. Race leader 87, that is Ron Fellows, is leading a parade into pit lane, but Boris said second place stayed out. And look at Ron Hornaday. During the yellow, he got into the back of Dennis Setzer. Amy?
They were hoping this was going to be a routine left sides and fuel, but as you can see, there's a lot of damage to the front of this truck. And Sandy Jones flat out told me that Ron said Setzer brake checked him. And what that means is that he just stopped short of him, and Ron got right to the back of him. Dave Burns.
Amy, Ron Fellows is in the pits. They changed left side tires and fuel him. Stacy Compton also changed in. They came in, they changed left side tires as well. The 44, Boris said they were talking about it. They knew the 87 was going to come in, but they decided to stay out.
Well, what's interesting, and we're going to be able to go back and play this for you between the confrontation on the 16. They're claiming that Setzer gave him a brake check. It looks like they've got problems with the radiator. Well, they're Chevrolet.
They're headed behind the wall. Listen to this onboard from Dennis Setzer's, and they're going very slow here. Listen. Now, unless something else happened that we didn't see, that sure didn't look like a brake check. I mean, Setzer was just having to slow down to slow down behind the pace truck.
Well, the number 3 man in the points chase is now behind the wall. The points leader is currently off and behind the wall as well. So Stacy Compton, who is currently running in 5th position, could find himself gaining a lot of ground if he can pay dividends. And here is the guy who is leading those who stayed out, the 44 of Boris said. Behind him, as they come around this time, we'll have to wait and see all the numbers.
It's Greg Biffle.
Yeah, Biffle stayed out.
Sawinski is a lap truck. Bliss is on the lead lap. Hensley is on the lead lap.
So track position is going to be interesting, to say the least. When we come back, we're working lap number 17 of 73 at Portland International Raceway. With Jeremy Dale, Amy East, Dave Burns, I'm Marty Reed. We're back to green flag racing here on lap 18 of the Grainger 225. Boris said leads him down. Here comes Greg Biffle, the hometown favorite. Said holds the position through the festival turn. On board the Grainger Ford of Greg Biffle. Behind Biffle is the 99 of Mike Bliss. Jimmy Hensley is 4th. And the 52 of Scott Hansen. All those trucks stayed out. They are in the top 5. Look at the log jam behind.
And look at Ron Fellows already on the move. There he is in that AER Chevrolet.
Right behind Dave Pittaresi, who is several laps down after going off course. He's in 28th position. Oh, he's locking him up. Fellows wants him to move over, get out of the way. He's not. He's staying in the race line.
Ron Fellows off to go around the outside here.
Gets a little greasy out there after all the buildup.
Yeah, this does give. If Fellows can get alongside, it gives him the line journey into the fast S's, but that's not going to happen.
So now I have to wait to set him up on the long front straightaway. On back through there is Dennis Setzer back out. He is running in 9th position right now after the contact. And all of us are scratching our heads wondering how in the heck that happened under yellow.
I really believe there must have been something else that we didn't see, because with the amount of damage to the front of Ron Hornaday's truck, that just didn't look like a hard enough hit.
So right now there is the 99 of Mike Bliss. Reports are he's got a little bit of damage on his Exide Ford. Dave Burns, you've caught up with Ron Hornaday.
Well, Ron stepped out of the truck, and he's already talked with Jack Sprague about what happened. We couldn't really see, Ron. We had no idea really what transpired out there, what went on.
The issue with Jack, that's just a racing deal. I mean, I didn't even see him. Those guys jumped to the outside, and I was already committed to the inside going through that turn, and I got in the quarter panel up, and I couldn't go high because there's a truck there already, and I went through the grass, and you can't stop in the grass, and I got inside of Jack and meleeed. But yellow came out, and I didn't know. I seen everybody slow down. I don't know if the one truck was mad at me, give me a brake job, or that's how slow the pace was going. But when I hit the brake, I hit the gas. It was just I went to the wrong side of the bed is what happened this morning. Just a bad day. I hate to see it. The Napa Chevrolet, these guys worked hard, came in early this morning, changed the whole truck around. But we're not going to be done for the day, but it's a disappointment because we had a pretty good truck. We could have got a top 5 out of it.
All right, I bet Ron Hornaday is one of several guys who can't wait to get back to an oval.
Oh, we got several weeks. Look at the clouds threatening off into the distance. Remember, we go to Watkins Glen next week, and the reports are we are getting a few light sprinkles across the racetrack. So we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, 0.3 of a second. That's what it looks like. Whoa, Boris lights up the right rear.
There's a little drop of rain there on Greg Biffle's camera. Boy, very impressed with the job Greg Biffle is doing here, running with Boris said.
Biffle, last time out, finished 3rd in Texas. On board now. Whoa, this is a great shot. You're going to get to watch Boris said work the pedals as we look out from the top of the roof cam of the Federated Auto Parts 4.
And watch how careful he has to be with that throttle pedal. And boy, you can clearly see those raindrops now. Now he'll dab that brake with his left foot just to make sure it's there. And then hard into the brakes, clutch goes in. He lays on a little heel and toe so he can rev up that motor as he downshifts. There it is. But look at him, he just has to wait on the truck and then he can go to full throttle.
This is great.
There he is dabbing that brake just to make sure it's there. Give himself some confidence as he goes down into the festival curves. Now this is down to first gear here. Look at how careful he has to be with that throttle.
Yeah, who is it that says Michael Flatley's the only guy who can tap dance? Whoa, this is getting interesting. 3 wide, heading down into the festival turn. Sort it out, fellas, quickly. That's Terry Cook in the 88. He is running in 11th right now. He's got a good run going. They have been struggling this year. And there is Kevin Harvick in the 98. He's trying to work his way back up after the pit stop. He's running in 14th. The 60 and the 90, they are not team trucks, although the paint job's a little bit similar. Andy Houston in the Cat Rental Chevrolet, the number 60. Lance Norrick right behind him. They are running 12th and 13th.
Andy Houston, another driver that went to school. Because the Craftsman Truck Series runs 3 races on road courses, you really have to do your homework and you have to work on your road course driving. And a lot of these drivers have been doing that, and Andy Houston is one of them.
On board the Cat Rental Chevy of Andy Houston. And you're right, with 3 of these races, you can't afford to give up all those points.
Whoa,
whoa! Lance Norrick getting way wide.
And man, that little piece of pavement there for the back pit lane sure saved Lance Norrick.
Yeah, because the grass is still wet from the rain today, and you actually would pick up speed if you get on the wet grass. Got a run on Scott Hansen. And we get a look at the Circuit City telemetry of Andy Houston.
There's first gear.
Andy Houston now in 11th.
Some of the guys getting up to 3rd there, but Andy Houston keeps it in 2nd. And they run 2nd gear all the way through these corners down the far end of the racetrack.
He's carrying the left front. Back to the battle up front. It is still Morissette, Greg Biffle, right behind him. Remember, these guys stayed out, so they are still running on the original set of tires. We are getting ready to complete lap number 22. Action continues here at Portland International Raceway at the Grainger 225. Stay with us. Here we go with some more race strategy at Portland International Raceway. Race leader Boris Said has pitted, but the Grainger Ford of Greg Biffle has yet to stop here in our second caution. He didn't stop the first time. He hasn't stopped this time. And we're working lap number 24.
Well, good potential strategy to get those 5 bonus points for leading a lap for Greg Biffle. So those points are very important.
Let's go to the leader's pitch. Dave Burns.
Boris Said brings the 44 in Federated Auto Parts Ford. They're going to go to the right side. Interesting, they changed left sides on Ron Fellows' truck the first time through. These are the tires that take the least abuse. They're going to put the left sides on, fill it with fuel, and send Boris back out of here. To also the right sides on the one of Dennis Setzer. They're going to do the same strategy and try to get some of that fender pulled out from the earlier incidents. Now Dennis is down. He will go out behind Scott Hansen.
Well, guys, I think what Boris Said is trying to do here, he's trying to get his right side tires changed now so that later in the race he can go to left side tires and have fresh left side tires later in the race when that's more important. Ron Fellows, we saw in that first stop, took left side tires.
Boy, the strategy here is really getting fascinating. Greg Biffle stays out. He is on tires that are now 24 laps old, and everybody else pretty much behind him has got at least 2 fresh tires. Let's set it for you the way it stacks up right now. It is Greg Biffle, your race leader. And the way they cross the line, of course, shows Boris Said, but that electronic scoring is going to switch around. The reason we're under this second yellow is Mylan Garrett, the number 85, stalled right at the entrance to the festival turns, and there you see he's on the hook, finally getting pulled behind the wall. And over to the right there, look at that, the 16 and the 24, Hornaday and Sprague behind the wall, both of them working on their trucks, trying to get back into this race. On board right now with Greg Biffle. Qualified 7th. Of course, he won the race earlier this year in Memphis. And it's interesting that we had a chance to spend some time with him to talk about that long drought where everybody thought so much of him.
I ran Andy hard too, you know, those last laps, trying to hold him down, tried to pinch him down coming up off the corner, not to give him any area to get a run. So we were trading paint before that last turn. And Andy did what any racer would have done, you know. He got in there and gave me a little nudge, and that's racing on the white flag lap, you know. I mean, you see it, you know, all the time happening. And, you know, we were close not only there, you know, Phoenix, we were second to Mike Bliss. You know, couldn't run him down in the closing laps. And we felt we were close to Texas and maybe Watkins Glen where we both the transmission leading. So
the low point, correct me if I'm wrong, had to be Memphis last year.
It was super discouraging for me. You know, we were just starting the pit stop procedures for the Truck Series. I had made a tremendous amount of mistakes up to that point, and then, you know, the team made a mistake on that race, and I think I got to admit that was probably the first mistake they'd made all season. Gosh, it's not their fault. I mean, you know, everybody makes mistakes, and you learn from them. And we made a mistake last year, and we learned from that mistake the rest of the season. You know, some lessons are harder learned than others, and that was a pretty tough lesson for us to learn last year. And we learned from that and had not made that mistake since. I was extremely disappointed at the end of last year not to pick up a win. Though I had 3 goals. One was to finish top 10 in the points, win the Rookie of the Year, and win a race. And we only came up short on the 1, but only 5 races in this season, or 6, we've accomplished that. It's so much relief. It felt like you're carrying that transporter on your shoulders every week to every racetrack. I mean, it's a ton of relief, and it was nice to come back and redeem ourselves here, especially for Randy. I think Randy felt it more than anybody. It's been great, you know. I mean, I couldn't wait till Monday to go into the shop and see all the guys and work with them. And more than anything, I felt better for the guys than myself because they'd worked so hard. You know, they work every week, every day, year-round in the race shop, and they got to have incentive to come to the racetrack and to come to work every day, and that incentive is to win.
So what's the goals now for the rest of the season?
My goal this season was to finish the top 3 in points, and I felt that the Grainger team had what it took to do that, considering the close of last season. And I still think we do.
Greg Biffle, his best road course finish as we're back to green flag racing, 20th. And right now he's in the lead, but look who is right on his back bumper. It is Ron Fellows.
And by the way, in the background, if you see Mike Bliss flying off the road there, coming out of the S's, lost a position there to Randy Tolsma.
And here comes Fellows looking to get underneath. Now remember, he's got fresher tires on his left side. He changed those back at lap 16. He takes the lead again. So another lead change here on the road course. And oh no, Rob Morgan in the festival turn. Look out, everybody. That's a vulnerable spot. Somehow, everybody makes it without tagging him on the driver's side door. He was primed for a T-bone. He's got damage to the right front. So Morgan, who was running in 12th position at the time, is going to find himself losing a lot of ground. We've got another chance to take a look and see exactly what happened.
Well, not surprising. First lap after the restart, first flying lap down in the festival curves. It looks like Rob Morgan just gets tagged there by Boris Said. Actually, look at the flame from underneath Boris Said's car as Jay Sauter makes his way around. So does Mike Stefanik and a whole host of other trucks.
Boris shown in 15th position after his pit stop. And remember, he took on rights. And there you can see the damage on Rob Morgan's brand new truck. They just put this together. First time out on the track, and it has been running very well so far. There's your race leaders, the 87. And here comes Boris Said. So the contact must have had a problem. So the race strategy has backfired. He got into the pack and now is down in pit lane.
And look at that 35-mile-an-hour pit lane speed limit. Very, very slow. Very frustrating for Boris Said.
Dave Burns is in Boris's pit.
And guys, I don't think there's any turn on this course that's 35 miles an hour in eternity for Boris Said. And as you said, the strategy to put on lefts last time. Actually, I'm looking now. They put on rights, so they're going to put on lefts now, and they're going to have 4 fresh tires. So it's interesting. With that left front cut down, this is going to give Boris the best tires on the course. They're waiting now to get that left front pulled out. And Boris is out of here.
And you can hear Boris having trouble getting rolling there with that very long, tall first gear.
Now let's go on board with Boris and see what happened.
There's Jay Sauter. He goes by Jay Sauter, and Boris just gets in too hot and gets into the side of Rob Morgan. No question about it.
So now Boris has the freshest tires on the racetrack, but he finds himself in 24th position. Can he reel in Ron Fellows? We're going to find out at the Grainger 225. Back at Portland International Raceway, round 11 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Grainger 225. You're looking at our race leader. That is Ron Fellows in the AER Manufacturing Chevrolet. He's got about a 1-second lead now over Greg Biffle, but what is amazing right there in the Grainger Ford is Biffle has not stopped, and we're working lap 33.
Well, that's the key, Marty, because Biffle has not changed tires yet, and Ron Fellows has. There is Ron Hornaday. He's back out on the racetrack with a pretty special-looking truck there. They pretty much had to rip all the front bodywork off that thing. But he is out there running, and he's going to try and pick up whatever points he can.
He is running 28th right now, 11 laps off the pace, and that's what you look like after you get your nose smashed in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Now behind the 16, and we should tell you Hornaday is running about 2 to 3 seconds off the race pace. No surprise there. There is the race leader, and that's the 87 of Ron Fellows, and he has now opened up about a 1.5 second lead. And as we're waiting for Fellows to come on through and Biffle to come right behind him, remember the fuel window. Everybody said no one could go more than 37 laps, absolute tops. We're working lap number 35. Biffle's going to have to stop sooner or later. Now there is Randy Tolsma. What a comeback after last week. His teammate right behind him. And the Napa Field summary, the points as of right now, you would find Stacy Compton in the points lead based on what happened to Jack Sprague and to Ron Hornaday. Both of them spending a great deal of time behind the wall. teammates running lockstep. Of course, Tolsma coming back from a real tough crash last week. He's hurting quite a bit on the ribs, Dave.
He is indeed, Marty, but the amazing thing is he doesn't feel bad enough so that he doesn't have to drive. In fact, after the accident, he did not re-injure his right shoulder nor his left hand. And Randy was even feeling good enough to go do a fishing show. And he cast with his right shoulder and arm, and he caught 6 fish. So Randy feels ready to race here at Portland.
Well, he's doing a great job right now as he is running 3rd. There is the 4th place truck, the RC Cola Dodge of Stacy Compton's teammate. There is the XI Ford of Mike Bliss in 5th, and Terry Cook is running in 6th. And this is his best run of the season going right now. So Bliss looking for his first top 5 of the year, and same with Cook. And whoa, we got a little tail heavy.
Yeah, those guys, they make that transition from the concrete onto the asphalt there, and they're up the top of 2nd gear, and that is a real tricky transition. They've been laying big strips of rubber there as they rejoin the main part of the racetrack all weekend.
Cook's best finish so far this year has been 12th at Odessa at I-70 Speedway. So right now, the 6th, look at, he's carrying that left front, locking it up on the right side. Moving back one more position, we pick up the 7th place runner. That's Andy Houston in the Cat Rental Chevrolet. On board with Andy, who started 13th, now running 7th. And the rain has stopped again. A few laps ago, the rain had kicked back up. We go on with our Circuit City telemetry with Andy Houston. Watch him go through the gears.
This is into the final corner here. You have to be very, very patient here. And it looks like Andy Houston's headed to pit lane.
So Andy Houston ducks into the pits. And Stacy Compton is slowed on the front stretch. He has lost several positions. He has dropped back 3 holes. Oh, he's got a problem.
Yeah, he's cut that left rear tire down. That left rear has gone down, and how disappointing for Stacy Compton. He is so far from the pit lane.
Player in it. He's got a left rear.
It happens all the way at the front straightaway, right after pit in.
And what makes this so hard? And what makes this so hard is this racetrack is primarily right-hand corners.
Full of fuel, left side tires.
You can hear the crew talking about what they're going to do when they get him around, but it's going to take an awfully long time. He's going to lose at least 1 lap. What a heartbreak. They have been working so hard on their road course program.
And then you saw Dennis Setzer go by him. Setzer was running 11, so Setzer now up into the top 10.
And Stacy's got a handful just trying to work the RC Dodge back to pit lane. Mike Wallace has gone by. He is 12th.
Heartbreaking for Stacy Compton.
While all this was going on, we can tell you that Andy Houston has made his pit stop. He is back out. He is currently shown in 21st position.
Man, look at that tire just coming apart.
Word is Greg Biffle is making his way toward pit lane, and take a look at what happens.
And Compton with a big slide here coming off that last corner. And you can see it. It looks like that tire's gone down a little bit, but we didn't get a real good look at it. There's Greg Biffle. Let's go down to Dave.
And they've already been on the left side. They're going to make a 4-tire change. Pretty rare here in the Craftsman Truck Series. The key here was Jeff Campy, the pool man. He got it all in there. And this, of course, is important because he's going to try to go one way. Mike Bliss is in as well. Amy?
This is the first time Mike Bliss has been in, and let's remember he has some right front damage to that wicker, so they're going to try to replace that as they put on right sides, clean off the windshield, fuel, and 99 data here.
So Amy, correct it for me. Did Bliss take all 4, or did he take just the right sides?
You got it, Marty. It was I didn't catch it, but he did take on left side and right side. So fresh for all 4 tires, fuel, and a little chassis adjustment.
So Jack Roush's team strategy here is they're going to try to do this on one stop, and there's Stacy Compton into the pits. Look at that shredded tire.
Not as big a disadvantage going for 4 tires on the road course because you're not as
Stop.
likely
There you go hard.
There goes Compton. Because you're not as likely to go down a lap. Even though these pit stops take a while, it takes about 1 minute 20 seconds to get around this racetrack, so you can do that 4-tire change and not lose that lap. Now, I guarantee you Stacy Compton has lost a lap because he had that very slow lap coming in on that shredded tire.
So there is your race leader, Ron Fellows, but he has got to have a nightmare pretty soon because he's going to realize that the 2 Jack Roush Fords are going to make this race on one stop. Stay with us. lead along with Jeremy Dale, Dave Burns, and Amy East. You're on board with Andy Houston. He is in 17th spot. Now, he has made a pit stop, and that man behind him is the race leader, the AER Chevrolet of Ron Fellows. And Fellows has like a 25-second lead right now, but he's going to have to stop sometime soon.
He is going to have to stop. Now, you can see that is Randy Tolsman, the 25 truck. He did stop, so he's gone a lap down. Houston trying to stay on that lead lap, and of course, Tolsman trying to get back on that lead lap.
Of course, he will get back on the lead lap when the 87 pits, but the question is, when will that come? Because it was Ron Fellows, as we're on board with Dennis Setzer, 25 seconds behind.
Now, Setzer stopped on both of the full course yellows. Fellows only stopped on the first yellow.
As we take a look at our Dodge race recap, and we have a full course yellow, and this is what Ron Fellows did not need. He needed to have that pit stop where he could have done it under green and taken that 25-second lead with him into the pits. Now it's going to dwindle to nothing.
Well, the question is, can Biffle, with the help of this full course yellow, can Biffle go to the end on just the one stop? Big question mark for the Roush team.
It is not just Biffle, it is also Mike Bliss. They are running 10th and 12th on the scoreboard right now. And Ron Fellows has just got to be wondering, why now? Because he is going to have to come into the pits after they open them up, tighten up the field. This is our third caution at lap 45. That's Kevin Harvick into the pits right now, and he has gone a lap down as a result of this yellow. So this is going to be costly timing for him as well, as he gets caught out on the caution. He had just entered the pit lane when the full course caution came out.
And the guy that did get back on the lead lap was Randy Tolsman. So Tolsman back on the lead lap, and Houston fought hard to stay on that lead lap, and he did.
So the hood is up on Harvick's truck. They may have an extended stop. Right now, we'll find out what happens to our race leader when we come back at the Grainger 225. Under yellow, and you can see that the field has tightened up, and that wonderful 25-second lead that Ron Fellows had built up has just gone all away. And we're expecting him to have to pit this time because he stopped back at lap 16. We're working lap number 46 right now. That's 30 laps. He'd be running out of fuel pretty soon.
And if Ron comes in now, he should be able to go the distance. And there he goes. He is peeling off towards pit lane.
35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Do not pass the pace truck. You saw him checking over to the left, making sure that he does not go beyond the pace truck, or he would be penalized. Right behind him, you see one of the Hastings Fords. That's the 27 of Rob Rizzo. He is 2 laps down in 20 seconds.
So the biggest question mark right now is on the Roush team. Can Greg Biffle go the distance? Can Mike Bliss go the distance? Let's go down to Dave Burns.
And we're waiting for Ron Fellows. They're going to go to the left side. He very casually agreed with them that that was the thing to do. Plus fuel. This crew is not unaccustomed to pit stops because obviously they did it for the Busch team of Joe Nemechek. They're also waiting down here for Boris Said. Here comes Said. He will go by Fellows. Let's see if he gets by. Yes, he does. Before Fellows completes his work on Said's truck, they will go to the left side also and put in fuel on the 44. They're going to the left side and adding the fuel now. Boris will try to get back out of here. A couple trucks past him, and Boris is done.
You also saw the 24 Jack Sprague. He is running in 29th position right now after losing a clutch early in the race after some contact. He's 23 laps down, on board with Boris Said. And more problems for the GMAC Chevrolet. So our points leader, Jack Sprague, coming into this race is going to surrender that lead because of his run today. Although Stacy Compton right now has fallen back to 20th, and he is 1 lap down. So maybe it's not going to be that much of a swap after all.
Well, the guy that can really make out in the points is probably Dennis Setzer, who before he came to the pits was shown in 4th place, and we saw him beat Borsett out.
And we're on board with Dennis Setzer. Yeah, we'll have to wait for the official scoring to come by the line this time. But interesting story about Dennis Setzer. Go back to our first race at Homestead. He was the first truck out. I mean, they didn't even make 2 laps of that event. So that meant he started the season dead last in the points. He came into this race after winning last week at Texas in 5th position, 176 points out of 1st place. And you're right, he may be the one right now. If he can hold on to this top 5 finish, and that was his goal, to come out of these 2 road course races with top 5 finishes, and he could pick up a lot of points today.
And we've already talked about how hard Dennis Setzer and Stacy Compton and Tolsma, all the Dodge guys, how hard they've been working on their road course, not only the driving, but the trucks, the setup, the development of the trucks, the whole deal. And it's really paying off for not only Dennis Setzer, but who almost got in the back of Stefanik there.
And that would be a replay of what happened to him with Ron Hornaday. On board as we're with Boris said, take a look at our road runners, and these are the guys who have won on the road courses. Ron Hornaday in 11 starts and Joe Ruttman have the share of the lead with 3 victories apiece, and they are the only guys that have run on and won on each of the road courses that the series has previously run. Right now Ruttman is in 19th, and he is 1 lap down, and Hornaday of course well back as well. Stay with us, the sun is trying to set, at least the rain has gone away.
X Games version 5.0 launches this June. This summer's hottest competition delivers attitude, amplitude, speed, and big air. ESPN will bring the aerial assault to the city by the bay, San Francisco, starting June 27. 8 days of the world's greatest masters who don't just defy gravity, they control it. X Games 1999. This ain't the summer of love.
And we've got our own extreme sport right here. We're under our 3rd caution of the day with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Oh, a little something dangling at the back of the 99 of the X-Side Ford on Mike Bliss. He's currently running 2nd with his Killer Bee teammate, Greg Biffle, right in front of him. Let's get an update from Amy East.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what's hanging from the left rear, but I will find out and update you guys in a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit about the fuel situation. Bliss says he can go all the way. He told his crew chief, Matt Chambers, if I just get in easy and get out of the turns easy, we'll definitely have enough fuel to end it. And on another note, the 25, which is a Dodge, traditionally more thirsty than the Fords, I thought for sure they would have to pit and get a little splash and go. Gary Showalter says, no problem, we can make it on fuel. Dave Burns.
Amy, I just spoke with Randy Goss, crew chief for Greg Biffle, and he thinks they can make it. They hope that they're going to make it. They're close. And all day, Greg has been radioing in that he is taking care of things. He's not spinning the tires. He's not over-revving the motor. He's trying to save fuel, and he's going to try and do that again now.
Well, a big deal here on this restart is, as you can see, as we're on board with Greg Biffle, he's not in the front of the line, so it's not like he's going to have clean, clear racetrack out in front of him. So he's not going to have an opportunity to cruise away from these guys.
All right, that last caution, as we go back to green flag racing, was for 4 laps. Now remember, Biffle and Bliss made it past the halfway mark. We got some contact there through the festival turns. There was 5 laps of caution, and they made it to lap 38, so this is going to be close.
And look at the front of Rob Morgan's truck. Boy, Rob Morgan having a tough time through the festival curves today. Man, that truck is a mess.
He is running in 14th position right now in the number 46 Axion Ford. On board with Mike Wallace, you can see he's spraying mosquitoes pretty well. That tire's going to cut through pretty quickly.
Yeah, Rob Morgan definitely going to want to get that truck to pit lane. Man, look at the fuel through the overflow there. That is the vent tube.
That looks like the gush tube. He's got fluids coming out all over this truck. I'm sure if he doesn't pull it in, probably NASCAR officials will be pulling him in.
Now there is Greg Biffle in the middle of all this traffic, right behind Ron Barfield, 55 truck. Look at the nose on Compton's truck. We didn't see where that happened.
Yeah, he ran into Ruttman, I believe, on the restart, so he's got some damage now. Stacy is on the lead lap. He's in 20th position right now. Back to our race leader, Greg Biffle. He's coming up on some lap traffic there. That is Ron Barfield. Barfield's the last truck on the lead lap. He's in 21st.
And look at Ron Fellows. He's mixing it up there.
He's gotten around Tolsma.
He's gotten around Tolsma. Now this is a lap truck in front of him, the 78 truck.
Taking a look at our Napa Field summary, the points championship battle as it stands right now. 43 of Jimmy Hensley, you saw there, he is running in 7th. Pitaresi is several laps down. There is Ron Fellows. He's currently in about 4th position. And he is having trouble getting around the 78 again. We saw this deja vu. Right here is same spot. To get an update on Ron Fellows, Dave.
Well, Marty, the amazing thing about that truck that he's driving is it's not a purpose-built road course truck. They ran it last year at Disney, the Neco Motorsports guys did, and they're going to run it at Texas with Ron Fellows, you would assume. So the neat thing about it is they've made it into a road course truck. Ron's a heck of a driver, but they did not build this thing from the ground up to win here at Portland. It looks like he just could.
A lot of traffic up in front. The 5th truck in line is your race leader, Greg Biffle.
And Biffle trying to have a look around Ron Barfield there. This is the 2nd lap in a row. He's been stuck behind him. And meanwhile, Ron Fellows is closing that gap down only 2.9 seconds right now.
Let's set this for you. You're looking at the race leader, the 50, the Grainger 4 of Greg Biffle. Then right behind him is Mike Bliss and Terry Cook. That's 2nd and 3rd. Cook back into the mix here, but I think Cook's going to have to stop one more time. Whereas the guys in front of him, they think they can go the distance. And there is the 87 now, right up on the back bumper of Terry Cook. Cook's last pit stop was on lap 38. We're working lap 51, so yes, he is definitely going to have to stop one more time. But he still had a great run. This team has needed this kind of run. They have been struggling all season long.
And I don't think Greg Biffle, there he goes. He's going to try and make that move now. Oh, the 78 truck off the road again.
He gets it back on course. No contact with the 31. The auto trim design for Kevin Sawinski, who's had a rough enough day already. They make their way down the backstretch. Meanwhile, we go back on board with our race leader, Greg Biffle. You can see the margin back to his teammate, Mike Bliss, in the Grainger 225. Telemetry.
And more than 150 miles an hour down that back straightaway. And you really try and roll the speed through those S's. A little dab on the brake there. 2nd gear through this last turn. Really hard to put the power down.
In fact, I think I need to correct myself. Sensor is probably going to be in 8th position. Yes, he is. And now he's going for 7th. He just goes by Sauter.
Whoa, in a little bit hot there.
That's
it. First gear. And it's a drag race. Out of this slow part of the chicane over that pavement change.
You can see the margin back to Jay Sauter. Boy, what a run Sauter had last week, despite the aerodynamic damage to his right front fender. He came home in 2nd place. Right now, Setzer is climbing up on the back bumper of a smoking Andy Houston, and that is for position. Houston is 6th.
So Dennis Setzer definitely the man on the move right now.
You saw where his best career finish on a road course was 14th. Right now, he's got that better easily. He's running 7th. Setzer right behind.
And listen to that truck as they go over that curve, just pounding that curve.
Gingerly through turn 12, back onto the power. Now let's check in with our race leaders. That's Stacy Compton about to go a lap down.
Yeah, Compton was a lap down. He got that lap back, and he's working hard to keep Biffle behind him. And Ron Fellows comes up past the 99 truck. So Fellows up into 2nd place.
So Fellows, despite losing a 25-second lead when that last caution came out, finds himself back into the thick of things as traffic has slowed up race leader Greg Biffle and allowed the 87 AER Manufacturing Chevrolet to pull back into this. Right now, Stacy Compton in 18th position in the Royal background Dodge. That's not where he wanted to be. He spent a lot of time and energy trying to better their road course program, but it just didn't pan out.
Well, this is critical for Stacy Compton on points, and as I said, he's just barely on that lead lap. There's a look at the points.
As of right now, because of Compton falling back to 18th, it's going to allow Jack Sprague to hold on to the points lead as of right now as you take a look at our Napa Field summary. So that's an interesting development for Jack Sprague.
And look at Fellows putting the pressure on Biffle here. Don't forget, Fellows has got fresher left side tires than Greg Biffle.
Look at this, 3 wide. No, Fellows says, I can wait a little longer. Biffle's on the outside now. This could be trouble for him.
Oh, this is going to be an opportunity for Fellows here as Biffle gets blocked out by Compton, and that is the opportunity that Ron Fellows needed.
That is road course experience in Portland. Remember, Ron Fellows has won here 3 times in a Trans Am car, twice in a Ford, once in a Chevy.
Well, you're right, Marty. That is road course experience, no question about it. I mean, Stacy Compton was fighting very hard to stay on that lead lap.
On board, the Grainger Ford. Greg Biffle now in second.
Now, earlier we saw Greg Biffle running nose to tail with Boris Said and staying with him. The question is now, can he run with Ron Fellows? He wanted to be able to kind of soft shoe it so he wouldn't be hard on the fuel consumption, but I don't think he's going to have that option now.
Through the final turn, the sun beginning to get right into these guys' eyes as they head down the front straightaway. Let's set the top 5 for you. It is the 87 right there, Ron Fellows, the 50 of Greg Biffle, the 99 of Mike Bliss, then 88 Terry Cook. He still has to make another stop, and Randy Tolsma in 5th. And Tolsma thinks he can go the distance. So out of the top 5, only Cook apparently must stop. Everybody else may be stretching this, trying to make it a fuel economy run, but they're averaging over 87 miles an hour. That still eats up a lot of petrol.
Petrol?
That's just another word for gas. On board, and oh, on the outside, this could be trouble. We'll find out if he's going to survive. Stay with us, we're coming back. The laps are winding down here at Portland International Raceway. It is Ron Fellows in front of Greg Biffle. The 87 in front of the 50. And Biffle had a tough time getting around the lap traffic now of Stacy Compton a little bit earlier, and that allowed everything to tighten up. And let's go down to Dave Burns. He's with Randy Goss, crew chief on the Grainger Ford.
Randy, did you guys try to work with the 86 truck to get around him earlier?
No, the 86 had lapped down, but he was fighting us pretty hard out there. We're kind of lucky today. We got to follow Boris and take a little school from him for free, and now we're getting to follow Fellows and take some school. And hopefully we got something for it when it's over.
Well, how good a road racer is Greg Biffle?
Well, we haven't finished one yet, so we're going to find out today.
All right. Well, they have raced a lot of Trans Am in the Roush pits, but Greg Biffle has not. We'll see how he does at the end of this thing.
And the big question is, look at Fellows having to go way on the inside. Whoa. Here we go.
Can Joe Rutman, that's the question, can Joe Rutman see Ron Fellows go?
And that is Lance Norrick, who gets spun around as a result. Is he able to keep it going? Yes. Look out from behind. Norrick, Setzer gets through. So Norrick slides back. He is running in 16th position right now after his last pit stop. But there just wasn't enough room for everybody. On board with Dennis Setzer in the Mopar Dodge.
Dennis Setzer up to 5th position. Right now about 6 seconds behind Ron Fellows up in the lead.
As we watch Dennis Setzer working lap number 58. I'm sure that Randy Goss probably would have liked to have seen one more yellow. Because the big question in the Ford camp of Jack Roush is, can they go the distance? They stopped at lap 37, which is just past the halfway point. There is Boris Said, our pole sitter, currently running in 8th. He's 7.9 seconds back.
And he's got some damage on the left front. He's got a little bit of tire rub on that left front corner.
And he is thrashing the truck. He got around Randy Tolsma. So that is going to move him up another position.
There's the yellow flag. Yellow flag at the start finish. That means a full course caution.
So that is going to help, as you see Lance Norton go into pit lane. That's going to help the two Roush Fords in second and third. Remember, they need a little more yellow to guarantee that they're going to be able to go the distance.
And Norton decides he doesn't want to stop, doesn't want to go down that lap. He'll come in the next lap.
So now it's going to be an interesting battle to the finish. The 16 of Ron Hornaday, we can tell you, has just pulled off the racetrack behind the wall again, right in front of our broadcast position. Hornaday is in 27th position, 11 laps down. Well, stay with us as we are about ready to take a break. Ron Fellows is in the race lead. Back around 11 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Grainger 225. We're under our fourth caution of the day as we take a look at our Napa field summary. Ron Fellows, Greg Biffle, Mike Bliss, Terry Cook, and with this yellow, Cook should be able to go the distance, and Dennis Setzer round out your top five. In fact, right now we have a total of 15 trucks on the lead lap. And Stacy Compton, as he goes by this time, will be shown one lap down as he accidentally passed under the yellow and had to fall back into position. So that's going to change right there. So all those trucks on the page, and you can see it. We've got several out of the race as well. Let's go down to Dave Burns in pit lane.
Tough break for Boris Said. The battery is dead. They take off the right rear tire and then open up the little housing, which is right in front of where the right rear tire is, to pull out the dead battery. It's a quick change. Out comes the old one. In goes the new, and Boris is going to lose his 7th place running spot, but it looks like they're going to get him back out there before green. As they continue to go to work, Jerry Baxter and the guys are going to try to set him up so he can at least work his way back through the field.
Well, a tough break for our pole sitter, Boris Said. Now, Boris will not be joining us next week at Watkins Glen. He's going to be running Winston Cup at Sears Point.
Yeah, Boris was very disappointed because he had made the commitment to run Sears Point before he'd seen the schedule, and he certainly would have run the doubleheader at Watkins Glen with the Busch cars and the trucks.
And that's exactly what's going to happen with Ron Fellows. Now, road racing tomorrow from Portland International, the Budweiser 200 on ABC. Juan Montoya is the points leader by only 2 over Dario Franchitti. That's live 4 Eastern on ABC Sports, except on the West Coast. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. There is your race leader, Ron Fellows. Now, Fellows is going to run those 2 races next weekend, the Busch and the trucks at Watkins Glen. There is Greg Biffle right behind him, the 99 of Mike Bliss. And let's tip our hats to Terry Cook, the Seal Master Chevrolet, in its best run of the year. And let's go down to pit lane. David?
This is Chris Showalter. He is the crew chief for Terry Cook. He's also the son of Gary Showalter, who we thought made kind of a grand call on staying out on fuel. You guys did too, but now you've got the yellows. Can you make it?
Oh, we can make it by plenty. Actually, we're about within a lap. If we had gone green the whole way with 9 caution laps, we can make it by at least 4 laps now. Even if we get a green-white checkered in.
So are these lean motors a Showalter thing or what?
Yeah, it runs in the family.
All right. Well, Terry Cook has had one of his best run guys. They got brand new decals on the car. They're excited about their run here today at Portland.
Well, his best finish in '98 was 2nd at Topeka, so he knows how to run the road courses, but their best finish so far this year has been a 12th, and that was back at I-70, so they have been struggling. This would be a great step forward for them. And again, we head next week to Watkins Glen, so another opportunity. Lights out on the pace truck. You heard Showalter mention a possible green-white checker. Well, if that were to happen, it would set a record here, for one thing. It would be our 6th time in one race season. But it would not be a 2-lap sprint because of the road course and the fuel configuration. It would be a 1-lap sprint. So we'll find out if it happens. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We're going to be completing lap number 62. So 11 laps of racing remain here at Portland International Raceway. And who's got the horses? Is it the 87 of Ron Fellows, the 50 of Greg Biffle, the 99 of Mike Bliss, gives him a little pop from behind. No harm. Bo is not hard enough to get him turned around. Whoa, look how Terry Cook gets turned around and Setzer gets around him.
Well, I was going to say, Dennis Setzer is going to be coming after Terry Cook. And so is Randy Tolzma. There they are.
So a little bit of damage to the left front of the 25 with Tolzma. I don't know when that occurred.
And you can bet that Setzer's going to be putting some pressure here on Mike Bliss, who has definitely fallen behind a little bit on this restart. Look at Biffle. Biffle is putting a lot of pressure on Fellows.
Dennis Setzer right now, as he has gotten around as well, he has moved into 4th position. They make their way down the long back straightaway. Here is the 87 in front of Ron Fellows. I'm looking at Biffle's like he's trying to get around him real early.
Well, there's no time like the present, and especially on these restarts. You come off these restarts, and if you're good on cold tires, you can really take advantage of that. And I think that's what Biffle is trying to do. He got a great restart, and he has stayed close to Ron Fellows. The question is, can he put enough pressure on him?
Sun setting in the west, the front straightaway. Greg Biffle in front of his hometown fans. In fact, right down here at the festival turn, 300 tickets he bought. They're all cheering for him right there. They're off to the right-hand side of our picture.
And Ron Fellows not on his normal racing line, a little bit defensive into the festival curves.
Oh, and the spin there for Dennis Setzer, and boy, is that going to be costly as he loses several positions.
Well, Setzer was racing with Tolzma, so that might lead you to believe that maybe he and Tolzma got together.
Happened out of our initial camera range. We'll wait to see if we have a second opportunity to look at it, but it looks like he has dropped all the way back. Remember, you got lap vehicles as well in here. They do not do a dual side-by-side start, so it's hard to tell how many actual positions he has lost as he's lighting up the right front under braking until, well, he's back behind the number 2 of Mike Wallace, and Wallace was 9th, so that would put him about 10th on the racetrack, so a very costly spin. It's Lance Norrick getting around the 2 of Mike Wallace. Norrick is 1 lap down in 17th. Setzer trying to go underneath. This could get dicey.
That's not going to work. That's too late.
Let's take a look and see what happened to Dennis Setzer. We're on
This is
board.
in the braking zone, going into the festival curves. He used a lot of curve there. It looks like he either spun it or maybe he got a little tap from behind. Hard to tell, but he sure lost a lot of positions.
Well, the way he went over the rumble strip, he really offloaded the truck. There's the battle for the race lead between Ron Fellows and the Grainger Ford of Greg Biffle. Stay with us. You're looking at the battle for the race lead as the laps are winding down. We are completing lap 65 of 73. And the big question is, if I remember correctly,
Look at this.
Biffle on the inside.
Biffle's got a big run, and he's where he wants to be. And side by side through that first impact, Fellows will have the advantage. Oh, Fellows spun.
Fellows spins the side-by-side contact. Here comes Tolzma to get around. Here comes Terry Cook to get around. That puts him back to 5th.
Ron Fellows back to 5th place.
So the Grainger Ford, door handle to door handle. There you see Randy Tolzma.
And the crowd here is going to go wild.
It's 3rd, 4th, and 5th place in your screen. The hometown fans, in fact, Grainger being the race sponsor, that's not going to hurt the program anymore. Oh, Terry Cook very hot.
Well, this is where everyone is going to see what they've got.
Well, just as we were getting ready to watch that pass, I was going to mention the fact that if I remember correctly, we were talking about this during the break. The 87 has never changed those right side tires. Let's go back and take another look.
He hasn't changed those right side tires, and here they are side by side going through that first apex, and Fellows has got the line here, but they just get together, and actually Biffle almost spun it. I thought initially Biffle was going to spin and Fellows was going to come out okay, but it actually worked out the other way around.
Talk about a day for Jack Roush's racing team. Right now, his guys are running 1 and 2, and you remember Mike Bliss, so far this year, his best has been a 6th back track at Martinsville and at Texas last week, so he is trying to really come up with his best run of the season.
And just in the back of the shot there, you saw Ron Fellows taking a run, and there he is. He takes a run at Tolsma, and so he's up in the third.
He is running on the rumble strip. He has come back to third. We are working lap number 67 of 73.
Now this is where we see what Ron Fellows has really got. We'll see how fast he can run. Can he get up to those race trucks?
Not so much worried about the left-handers, but the right-hand corners. Remember, those tires on the right side. He's changed lefts twice, and he's been on the rights the entire distance. What's going to happen to the finish? Well, we're going to find out when we come back. Right now, Biffle leads Bliss by 2 seconds, 5 seconds over. Third place, Ron Fellows. Lead the Grainger Ford, the number 50 coming up on lap traffic. That is the last truck on the lead lap, the 52 of Scott Hansen. He's got a great run going considering he is not known for his road racing prowess. And there you go with 6 laps to go. Here is the margin back to second place, Mike Bliss. And here closing quickly right behind Bliss. You're going to see him coming into screen here shortly is Ron Fellows. Fellows last time was over 5 seconds off the race lead. Look at how much ground he is chewing up.
And Biffle got caught a little bit behind Hansen. He did end up getting by him, but he lost a bit of time. Look at Ron Fellows sliding that truck.
In 4th place, Randy Tolsma. 5th place, Terry Cook. These guys got great runs going as well. Andy Houston, the 3rd truck in that line. Boy, Cook's got to be careful. He's really running the curves. Houston in 6th. And then behind Houston is Jay Sauter right there in the Goodrich Chevy, the number 3. You got a quick glimpse of him. He is in 7th. I can tell you that the race lead while you're looking at Andy Houston is now 2.2 seconds. Sun as we head into the western sky. That's Andy Houston closing down quickly on Terry Cook.
And a little bit of sun here, not a big deal. This race will be over in time before this becomes a big issue for these drivers. But it starts to get a bit of a sheen on the racetrack. Andy Houston's had a great run today.
I'm going to tell you something. While you're watching Houston, I'm looking at the stopwatch. And Ron Fellows has clipped off 2 seconds in the last 2 laps off of the race lead. So this is not over yet, folks. Andy Houston, and there is Jay Sauter. Sauter currently running in 7th. He is 8.6 seconds behind the race lead.
The question is, does Ron Fellows have enough time? A little bit of something on the right side of Sauter's truck there has come loose. Can't quite see what that is. The question is, does Ron Fellows have enough time not only to get up to Mike Bliss and get by Bliss, and he's just about caught Bliss, but to get up to the lead and challenge for the lead?
4 laps to go. Take a look at the last lap. Wow. Fellows by 2 miles an hour quicker and picking up 2 seconds.
Well, like I said, this is where we're going to find out what Ron Fellows really has.
Well, this is where the Exide Ford and Mike Bliss as a teammate can really help by making that truck as wide as possible, because Fellows is going to try and get around him here on this back straightaway if he can get a good run coming off of these corners.
And I guarantee you, Mike Bliss wants those points anyway. Mike Bliss wants that 2nd position. If he can't win this race, he wants those points for 2nd position.
Oh, word just comes to us to pit lane that Jimmy Hensley is pulled behind the wall with motor problems. He had a top 10 run going, and he is not known for road racing skills. In fact, he just said, let me get through this. Well, it's over now for Hensley.
And the bad news is he's got to go to Watkins Glen next weekend for another road course event. A lot of these guys wanted to get through this event because they're going to run these trucks again, these road course trucks at Watkins Glen. So they wanted to get out of here without any damage. And boy, we've seen a lot of trucks damaged today.
Long tow from Portland all the way back. And here is the margin now. You can see all 3 trucks. And boy, Fellows just not able to get a good enough run on Mike Bliss. What's the difference? Well, the clocks will be coming up 3 seconds now between 1st and 2nd, and 3.7 seconds back to Fellows. So right now, with 70 laps complete, 3 to go. It looks like it's Greg Biffel's race to win or lose. Stay with us. We're coming back for the checkered flag. It started out as a great strategic race. It got a little physical, and it has now turned into all-out mad dash for the finish line. 3 laps to go. You're looking at the battle for second. That is the X-side Ford of Mike Bliss. 3 seconds in front is his teammate, Greg Biffle. There is the guy who sat on the outside of the front row, led quite a bit of this race. Ron Fellows trying desperately to reel in these guys, but remember, Fellows has right side rubber that is now 71 laps old.
And I've got to believe that's really hurting Ron Fellows right now. And don't forget, it doesn't just hurt you when you're turning left, it hurts you down in this braking zone at the end of the straightaway. Look at the sun beaming in on those guys.
You saw the 66 of Mike Stefanik go a lap down. He is the 13th place vehicle. There's only 12 trucks on the lead lap now. There's Terry Cook. Said back out onto the racetrack, has gotten past Jay Sauter. He has moved back into 7th position after the battery change.
Well, luckily for Boris, they were able to do that battery change under yellow. So not a big problem. And Boris, the 52 truck with Hansen off.
Scott Hansen in 14th position. He'll get it back underway. We will not have a full course caution. Damage to that right rear bumper. I don't know if he got a little tap or if he just got too hot through the corner.
Well, there were a bunch of guys racing for position, trying to get through this traffic. You can see Biffle is working his way through the traffic. And boy, Ron Fellows not able to do a whole lot with Mike Bliss right now.
He's lost contact with Bliss. In fact, I think the tires are just flat gone on the 87. This time by, we will complete lap number 72. The white flag in hand, and it waves for Greg Biffle. Oh, the party at Biffle's Pub and Grill is going to be spectacular if he can hold on for one more lap.
And I said it earlier, I was really impressed with Greg Biffle when he was running behind Boris Said there. Boris Said on fresher tires, Biffle doing a great job. And this guy, Ron Fellows, they're really going to be questioning their strategy, not changing those right side tires.
There is the margin between second and third. Ron Fellows giving it all he's got, but I just don't think he's got any tires left. Greg Biffle making the left-hander.
Don't forget the Jack Rush team, a lot of history in road racing with that Rush team. Max Jones is the team manager. He runs that team.
A win at Memphis to redeem himself after a disaster a year earlier. A third last week at Texas. He's currently in 6th place in the points coming into this race. But right now, Greg Biffle with probably the most cherished win of his career in front of 300 hometown fans that he bought the tickets for, and everybody else in Portland makes the turn onto the front straightaway to look at his second career checkered flag, his first road course win, and a salute to his crew. They did a magnificent job winning the Grainger 225. The Killer Bees have finally struck. Mike Bliss, his teammate, finishes in 2nd place. Look at Biffle saluting the crowd.
Well, the crowd, as he came by the start-finish, the crowd was on their feet cheering for Greg Biffle, as they should be. What a fantastic race for these Roush teammates.
And Bliss pulls up alongside, thumbs up for each of them. A tip of the hat also to the 87 of Ron Fellows. Gave it everything he had. That one yellow, I think, really hurt him. Amy is with Randy Goss.
Congratulations, Randy. The team was awesome. You had great pit strategies, and this was probably one of your guys' bigger victories.
Well, I don't know about the pit strategy, but the Grainger crew did great, and the F-150 just ran flawless today. And the X-side guys, how about those guys, man? I thought we might run out of gas and they might win it, but just a great job by the team.
Yeah, you guys are definitely making Jack Roush happy this weekend.
Well, we weren't that good in practice, and nobody, you know, we didn't think we could really beat Fellows and Boris, but we just hung tough and played our cards the best we could with what we had, so.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
A very happy Aunt Randy Dawson. Boy, he deserves every accolade that they are going to get because their strategy did work. One stop, they pulled it off. He's heading for victory lane. We'll talk to Greg Biffle when we come back to Portland, Oregon, his hometown. Round 11 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is being brought to you by A1, the Steakhouse Secret. By Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. And by the Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the new Chevy Silverado. It's the truck. Let's go down to victory lane. He is caught up with our winner. Where are you, David?
Well, I'm with Greg Biffle getting out of the truck in front of his crew, in front of hundreds of fans here in Portland. People that have watched him race on the ovals, and Mike Bliss, second place and teammate, giving him a big shower there. A great day for the Jack Roush pair. And finally, Marty, like you said, the Killer Bees with a little sting. Greg, come on down here before you get us all wet with Gatorade down here. That was a great victory. What did it feel like to be able to get by Ron Fellows and then to be able to win the race?
I'll tell you what, you know, the strategy that the Grainger team had, you know, they were right on track. You know, they're road racers, and we had a better tire than he did. And he was starting to get loose, and we were gaining on him a bunch. And I knew I had him. I said I had him going down the back, and I tried to get him there, and he wouldn't let me inside. But here he gave me an opportunity, and the minute we saw that corner, it was just covered with dirt clods, and somebody had gone in there and throw a bunch of dirt out. And he was already sliding sideways before we contacted, and we were doing anything we could to save it, and the guys right behind us wrecked. So, I mean, it was great to compete with those guys, Ron Fellows and Boris said, those veteran road racers. Coming from a year ago, never finished a road race to winning one, so hats off to these guys.
All right, these are the guys. They did it, and it was a wonderful win for Greg Biffle.
So as we take a look at our full field results, pick out your favorite driver. Notice that Boris said came back to finish in 5th. Great run for Terry Cook, as our Fellows actually gets 3rd. I should say Boris said in 5th. And we had 4 cars day at all in the yellow department as the field of 32 rounds out. Now the updated point situation, well, because of the way things shake out, Jack Sprague is still on top of Stacy Compton by 16 because all 3 of the top runners had a dismal day. So it will move on to Watkins Glen for our next round of racing, and that's going to be next Saturday on ESPN, the Bully Hill 150, 5 o'clock Eastern, and then on Sunday we'll have the Busch Series, the Lysol 200 at noon Eastern. And you can get more information on ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. So for Jeremy Dale, Amy East, Dave Burns, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here on ESPN for our NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.